Anderson, it's certainly a serious situation. These inmates, escaped inmates, are facing a variety of charges, including violent charges such as murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment. So let's dig a little bit deeper here into the timeline and what happened with this brand new surveillance video.
I'm asking for help from the world, from Meat Mills, Lil Wayne, Young Boy, Donald Trump. I'm asking for these people. I couldn't even get a lawyer. I couldn't even afford a lawyer to prove my innocence.
Antoine Massey, one of the escaped New Orleans inmates from last month's prison break, allegedly posted a 9-minute video to Instagram requesting the legal help of President Donald Trump and rapper Lil Wayne.
Welcome back to Fame Flux, where the truth behind fame gets exposed. Authorities are now eyeing an unexpected link between one of New Orleans' most high-profile escapees and a major name in hip-hop. Rapper Lil Wayne is reportedly connected to Antoine Massey, one of the fugitives who recently broke out of prison and immediately began taunting law enforcement on social media. The link? Their fathers. Antoine's father, known locally as Big Twine, was part of the same inner circle as Wayne's late stepfather, Rabbit. While there's no direct evidence tying Lil Wayne to the escape or to Massey's recent activities, law enforcement officials and online speculation have begun connecting the dots between past relationships and current criminal fallout. This connection, while not criminal in itself, is now of interest to investigators working to capture Massie, who remains on the run. No charges have been filed against Wayne, and he has not been named as a suspect. However, his name has been circulating widely online, with many questioning whether his family ties could lead to further scrutiny from federal authorities. After all, Antoine Massey isn't just any local figure. He's a known name in the New Orleans underground and carries a reputation that stretches back years. Lil Wayne has publicly shared how much Rabbit meant to him, referring to him not only as a father figure, but also as the core reason behind his early music journey.
Pulling them off the track, says the sheriff, that at 1 a.m., it is at this moment that a corrections monitoring technician stepped away from their position where they would be visually watching this pod to go grab some food. And that is the moment, the sheriff tells us, that the inmates exited through a hole in the wall behind the toilet, got into the loading dock, and you can see them right here. This is after they scaled the wall, going past the barbed wire, and then going through this interstate. Now, the Orleans Parish Sheriff, Susan Hudson, says that the cells had defective locks, but they also had evidence of this being an inside job. The plumbing and the rebar that you can see right here had been clean cut with those big bolts removed that could...
If Rabbit and Big Twine were as close as old records suggest, some believe those bonds could have had lasting influence, possibly extending to their sons. And now, with Antoine still evading capture, that old connection might be revisited in ways no one saw coming. To be absolutely clear, there's no known personal relationship between Lil Wayne and Antoine Massey. There's no record of them ever being seen together. No digital trail, no photos, and no online posts linking them directly. However, when it comes to family history and legacy in New Orleans, those invisible ties still matter. It's a city where generational connections run deep, and everyone seems tied to someone in one way or another. That's why law enforcement and online commentators have started raising questions. With Antoine Massey openly mocking police after his escape, posting taunts and triggering media attention, suspicion naturally turned toward anyone with overlapping roots. And given that Wayne's father figure, Rabbit, was reportedly connected to Massey's father, Big Twine, it didn't take long for Wayne's name to resurface in conversations around the case. Even though Lil Wayne has kept a relatively clean slate in recent years, it's hard to ignore his past run-ins with the law. His record includes a weapons charge that landed him in Rikers Island in 2010, not to mention other brushes with law enforcement over the years. While none of that suggests any current wrongdoing, it does mean that federal investigators might consider Wayne worth a quick conversation, just to see if he's aware of anything that might help them close in on Massie. Pulling in a public figure for questioning doesn't require much beyond proximity, legacy ties, or prior history. In this case, Wayne's background and his family's roots in the same communities now under scrutiny make him an obvious name for federal agents to at least consider. It doesn't mean he's in trouble. It means he's connected to a wider story that's still unfolding.
Only have happened with outside help, they said. Now, officials discovered that they were missing at least 7 hours later since their escape. Since this has happened, they have suspended 3 of the employees there pending the outcome of this internal investigation. And the sheriff insisted that the moment they found out, they immediately started calling victims and started calling survivors to warn them of what had happened. Now, listen to this off the rails presser, Anderson, and you can see how officials are answering.
So no one was watching live video all night at the jail?
I won't say no one was watching live video,
Then
but
how did nobody see them
there are
leaving the
over
jail?
900 cameras.
How did nobody see them leaving the jail?
And this story with Antoine Massey is far from over. The more details that emerge, the more complex the web becomes. If it wasn't already clear, Antoine Massey is turning his escape artistry into a notorious legacy. This man has literal chess pieces tattooed on his forehead and face. Hardly a look that blends in with the crowd. Yet even with such distinct markings, Massie has managed to vanish without a trace. Since breaking out of a New Orleans jail on May 16th with 9 other inmates, he's continued to evade capture. As of now, only Massie and Derek Groves, another inmate charged with second-degree murder, remain at large. Both men are considered extremely dangerous, and law enforcement is treating the situation with maximum urgency. Groves is tied to a series of violent charges, including murder and manslaughter. But Massie, his reputation has earned him a new title on the streets and in police circles, the Houdini of Louisiana. And not without reason, this isn't his first act of vanishing into thin air. Matt Dennis, who operates the ankle monitoring program in New Orleans, shed some light on Massie's history. According to Dennis, Massie was once issued a court-ordered ankle monitor and cut it off within hours. He didn't even try to mask the act, just sliced it and disappeared. That wasn't a one-time stunt either. This kind of escape maneuver has happened at least 5 times. His record includes fleeing from juvenile detention and executing a coordinated escape from Morehouse Parish Jail in 2019. That time, he didn't just vanish. He left in style, with a getaway rental car waiting outside. The planning was so calculated it seemed almost cinematic, like a scene out of a heist film. As for the most recent breakout, officials are convinced Massie was the operation's lead strategist. Reports suggest he mapped out the entire plan down to the smallest detail: money, hotels, meals. He even had a Cash App hustle running from inside the jail. By the time authorities caught wind of it, he had laid the groundwork for a full-on criminal operation from behind bars. If there's one thing that's becoming undeniable, it's that Antoine Massey is operating on an entirely different level of defiance. This man is out here treating escapes like a professional sport. With bold chest piece tattoos inked across his face and forehead, you'd expect him to be easily spotted in any crowd. But even with that unmistakable look, Massie remains invisible to authorities. After breaking out of a New Orleans jail on May 16th alongside 9 other inmates, nearly 2 weeks have passed, and Massie is still nowhere to be found. Only he and Derek Groves, another high-risk inmate charged with second-degree murder, are still on the loose. Both men carry serious charges, and law enforcement across Louisiana remains on high alert. Groves, known for his involvement in multiple violent crimes, is considered extremely dangerous.
There are over 900 cameras in
No,
this facility.
it's just, how did no one see a massive jailbreak? But it's your job. It's your job to monitor every single person in this facility every day. Do you want to say you're sorry to the people of New Orleans for having this happen? I mean,
We are underfunded, understaffed, underpaid. So we do our best to hire staff and retain them, but like everyone else, we're short.
Wow. I mean, Chief Ramsey, it's kind of remarkable. He's saying there's 900 cameras. If there's no one actually watching the cameras or watching the video feed, then that seems initially. Isabel said that it just happened that this person allegedly got up for food at the exact same time that this jailbreak.
But Massie's reputation? It's earned him a new nickname, the Houdini of Louisiana. Matt Dennis, who oversees an ankle monitor program in New Orleans, confirmed that Massie has escaped monitoring systems multiple times. One instance had him cutting off his ankle bracelet just hours after it was attached. No disguise, no delay. He simply sliced it and vanished. And that wasn't a one-off. Massie has reportedly pulled similar stunts 5 separate times, including a 2019 breakout from Morehouse Parish Jail. That escape was so precise, a getaway rental car was allegedly waiting for him outside the facility. But this latest escape appears to be his boldest and most elaborate yet. According to sources familiar with the investigation, Massie is believed to be the mastermind behind the entire operation. Authorities suggest he organized logistics from behind bars, coordinating money, food, transportation, and shelter in advance. Adding to the drama, Massie is also accused of running a small financial scheme inside the jail, using a cash app hustle to fund his underground activity. What we're witnessing here isn't just another escapee. This is someone who may have been building a low-key criminal empire from the inside, turning incarceration into strategy and evading justice like it's second nature. And now things just got even wilder. According to internal sources, one of the jail workers, Sterling Williams, has come forward with a disturbing allegation. Antoine Massey threatened to stab him if he didn't assist with the escape. Surveillance footage backs this up, showing Williams in direct conversation with Massie, Derek Groves, and another inmate right before they made their move. But don't picture some dramatic explosion or chaotic riot. This wasn't that kind of breakout. These men executed a plan so audacious it could have come from a movie script. Instead of busting through gates or fences, they reportedly pulled an entire toilet and sink combo off a jailhouse wall and slipped through a hidden opening. No alarms, no guards catching them in the act. Just calculated timing, inside help, and pure determination. It's the kind of thing that suggests this escape was in the works for a long time, not a spur-of-the-moment opportunity. But let's not get it twisted. Antoine Massey isn't just known for breakouts. His criminal record is both extensive and disturbing. Over the years, Massey has faced convictions for armed robbery, fleeing police, gun charges, and more. His current list of charges includes domestic abuse, auto theft, and he's also wanted in connection with a rape and kidnapping case in St. Tammany Parish. These aren't minor allegations. These are violent, deeply concerning offenses that paint a dangerous picture of who law enforcement is still trying to track down. The domestic abuse charges stem from an incident back in November 2024, when Massey allegedly assaulted his girlfriend during a violent outburst. She eventually managed to escape and flagged down a passerby for help. Not long after, Massey was reportedly found in Texas, chilling in a stolen Mercedes-Benz, which police say had been taken from a party in New Orleans. Now, of the 10 inmates who escaped, 8 have already been recaptured. Most are back behind bars at Angola prison with no possibility of bail, but Massie and Groves remain on the run. Authorities have arrested more than a dozen individuals suspected of aiding them, whether through planning, providing shelter, or offering resources after the fact. That shows just how far-reaching this operation really is. This wasn't a lucky break. It was a well-constructed, messy, and dangerous conspiracy. And if you're wondering how something like this could even happen, well, the jail conditions made it far too easy. Reports reveal that the facility's security infrastructure was practically falling apart. The locks on the cells were outdated and easy to manipulate. These inmates reportedly spent about 20 minutes jimmying a sliding door open, then calmly walked into a neighboring cell, removed a sink and toilet unit, and vanished into the shadows. What's more disturbing is that this wasn't just a one-man operation. It was a coordinated move with clear goals. And it's exactly that level of planning that has law enforcement on edge. Because with Massie still out there, and now the feds watching every corner of New Orleans, this story is far from over.
Occurred. What stands out to you about this, Chief?
Well, first of all, that timing's awful suspicious. I mean, you leave to get food at the same time these guys decide to escape. I mean, that is by itself tells you that something is just not right. There's no way they could have done this without help from the inside, and they probably have some help on the outside once they got out. I wouldn't doubt that at all. They've only caught one so far. There was a 7-hour gap from the time they actually escaped to the time they were noticed to be missing, 8:30, and it was another hour before they notified law enforcement about the escape. This whole thing it just stinks. It's bad, and somebody's got to be held accountable. This is just not acceptable. I know that they're on the defense right now, but they should be on the defense. I mean, there's just no way something like this should happen.
What went down inside that jail was nothing short of chaos wrapped in precision. According to official reports, behind that toilet and sink combo was a pipe chase blocked by steel bars. But those bars weren't as impenetrable as they looked. The escapees allegedly sliced clean through them, using nothing more than electric hair clippers. Let that sink in. A set of basic grooming tools, and they shredded steel like it was cardboard. Once the path was cleared, things moved fast. Maintenance worker Sterling Williams, who's now under serious scrutiny, is said to have shut off the water to avoid flooding, then walked off the job. He claims an inmate threatened him with a shank if he didn't cooperate. Whether that's true or just a convenient excuse, the fact remains. He played a role in enabling this escape. Meanwhile, the corrections officer assigned to the pod left to grab food, and the civilian responsible for monitoring security cameras was nowhere to be found. So when the inmates slipped into the facility's loading dock, there was no one watching. They then scaled a wall, tossed towels over the barbed wire to avoid getting shredded, and sprinted across Interstate 10 like they were scoring a game-winning touchdown. And just to erase any sign of their breakout, some of the escapees even had the foresight to bolt the toilet fixture back into place, like nothing ever happened. It took nearly 7 hours before the jail staff realized something was wrong. A routine head count finally revealed the gaping hole in security, and by that time, most of the escape crew had already vanished into the night. But the authorities moved quickly. In the days that followed, law enforcement captured nearly all of the escapees. Lenton Van Buren Jr., Leo Tate, Sr., Dick Keenan, Dennis, Gary Price, Robert Moody, Kendall Miles, Corey Boyd, and Jermaine Donald were all reapprehended within a matter of days. All are now locked up tight at Angola prison, held without bail, their failed bid for freedom now behind them. As for the consequences, they came swift and heavy. Sterling Williams is now facing 10 counts of principal to simple escape and malfeasance in office. 3 other jail staffers were immediately suspended without pay, and one more has already been formally booked on charges. Even one of the inmates still inside managed to rack up new charges for aiding the escape operation. Outside the prison walls, the dragnet extended further. Authorities arrested 5 individuals suspected of harboring or helping the fugitives. 2 women were charged as accessories after the fact, and 4 more, allegedly linked to Lenton Van Buren, were picked up for attempting to stash escapees in local homes. One even thought a weekend house hideout would keep law enforcement at bay. But with this kind of multi-agency attention and national pressure, hiding was never going to last long. And now, with only 2 inmates still missing, including Antoine Massey, the man at the center of it all, law enforcement is pressing harder than ever. The heat is on, and it's only getting hotter from here. Authorities are saying what most already suspect. There's no way a group of inmates pulled this off without inside help. The operation was too smooth, too clean. Nobody slices through steel bars with clippers, shuts off the plumbing, walks past security, and disappears into the night without the house being halfway unlocked already. This wasn't just an escape. It was a coordinated failure on multiple fronts. While the breakout itself might have looked slick on the surface, the manhunt brought reality crashing down fast. 8 of the 10 escapees are already back in jumpsuits. 2 remain at large. Meanwhile, everyone who helped or even knew about the plan has gone from selfies to mugshots in a matter of days. It's not just a correctional issue anymore. It's a political storm. And when the dust started settling, the spotlight hit Sheriff Susan Hudson first. As the head of the Orleans Parish Jail, she's now firmly in the hot seat. In a press conference, she didn't dodge responsibility. Her words were clear. "This one's on me." She admitted what critics have been saying for years, that the jail was plagued with broken locks, staffing shortages, and inadequate resources. But Hudson didn't stop there. She also hinted that this wasn't just about broken hardware. Someone on the inside had to open doors, either literally or through quiet assistance. And now, the investigation is widening. Every employee at that facility is under the microscope. Guards, clerks, contractors, and anyone who might have looked the other way. District Attorney Jason Williams isn't pulling punches either. He made it clear, 10 dangerous individuals don't just slip through steel and barbed wire without help. His office is now conducting a deep dive into every connection tied to the jailbreak, and he's not letting protocol slip by. After the sheriff's team failed to initiate one, Williams ordered a full forensic sweep of the escape route. Now the political pressure is building fast. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry just signed an executive order launching a statewide review. He's pulling in state troopers, auditors, and inspectors to get to the bottom of the failure. It's the first top-to-bottom inquiry of its kind in over a decade. Meanwhile, the New Orleans City Council has launched its own inquiry, grilling Sheriff Hudson to find out if this was truly about lacking resources or flat-out mismanagement. What started as a jailbreak is now a full-scale crisis. Some state lawmakers had previously floated the idea of scaling back incarceration costs, or even closing the facility altogether. But all of that vanished the moment this escape hit headlines. That conversation is over. For now, security is priority number one, and the pressure's never been higher. Sheriff Susan Hudson initially tried to deflect, claiming critics were politicizing the incident. But once the situation spiraled into national coverage, her stance shifted fast. She stepped up, admitted failure, and asked for more funding to repair the facility and tighten oversight. But money won't fix broken trust overnight. Let's not forget, Antoine Massey and Derek Groves are still out there. The state's now offering $20,000 rewards for information on each of them. Officials have made it clear, anyone harboring or aiding these fugitives will face serious charges. The manhunt is aggressive, and law enforcement says it won't stop until both are in custody. But the story doesn't end with 2 missing men. This entire situation has thrown a harsh spotlight on New Orleans' justice system. The public frustration is boiling over. People already doubted the system's integrity, now that skepticism is amplified. Former inmates, civil rights groups, and even ex-staffers are voicing concerns about inhumane conditions, neglect, and deep-rooted mismanagement. The truth is, this escape was only a symptom. The disease? A system that's been broken for years. Rotting infrastructure, underpaid staff, poor leadership, and zero transparency. This isn't just about 2 convicts on the run. It's about the environment that let it happen. And the public's finally asking the hard questions. Will this system ever change? Or are we waiting for the next disaster to hit? So what do you think? Was this just the tip of the iceberg? Or are we staring at the whole glacier? And with family connections under the microscope, will Lil Wayne's name come back into play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're tapped into the truth behind headlines, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More jaw-dropping updates are just around the corner.